What's up? Welcome to my podcast. Today we're going to be talking about how President Nixon was behind the burglary of ex-CIA agents who broke into the Democratic National Committee and tried to cover it up using White House staff. The Watergate scandal began the morning of June 17, 1972, where multiple burglars were arrested in the Democratic National Committee's office located in the Watergate buildings in Washington, D.C. They were caught wiretapping phones and stealing documents, and we later found out that they were actually replacing wiretaps that had failed to work. At first, no one had any reason to believe that it was connected to President Nixon, until one of the detectives found copies of the Re-Election Committee's White House phone numbers in the burglars' belongings. They then found out that they were working alongside the committee to re-elect the president, aka Creep, and it was also revealed that he arranged to give hundreds of thousands of dollars in hush monies to the burglars. Nixon took incredible steps to cover up his crimes, some of them being more serious than the original break-in, and definitely an abuse of presidential power, as well as deliberate obstruction of justice. He almost got away with it, until Washington Post reporters Bob Woodward and Carla Bernstein revealed his role in the break-in. Shortly after, the United States petitioned a case against defendant Nixon, which first took place on July 24, 1972, in the White House, and went through the burger court before reaching the Supreme Court. The legal question they asked was, is the president's right to safeguard certain information using his executive privilege entirely immune from judicial review? The justices presiding were Berger, Douglas, Brennan, Stewart, Marshall, White, Blackmun, Powell, and Rehnquist, who unanimously decided that the president must obey the subpoena and produce the tapes and documents revealing his role. There is a limited executive privilege in areas of military or diplomatic affairs, but Oyez gave preference to, and I quote, the fundamental demands of due process and law of fair administration of justice. The president must follow the rules when acting under presidential power, and he cannot break any laws and justify it as a presidential matter, because no matter how high up your position is, it doesn't give you the right to be above the rules. After finally releasing the tapes on August 5th, Nixon resigned on August 8th, 1974, and gave a speech where he swore that his White House staff wasn't involved in the break-in. Though even with all of this controversy and scandal, he actually got re-elected that November. His abuse of presidential power has long-lasting impacts on America politically, creating a lot of distrust and cynicism, though it has actually helped determine future cases, such as the many civil cases that the Trump family is facing in New York right now. Donald Trump and his three eldest are taking the stand, testifying in a civil trial that alleges fraud was knowingly committed by the Trump Organization. Though Ivanka Trump is not a defendant, she is also scheduled to testify next week. The case started on October 17th and is scheduled to unfold over the next few weeks, with Judge Arthur Engoron presiding over the trial. The story relates to United States v. Nixon because it shows how presidents can abuse their power without consequences. Same as all presidents, both Nixon and Trump have had their scandals. There are now two separate lawsuits to prevent him from being on the ballot because of these scandals and his reputation. The lawsuits are to prevent him from being on the ballot in Colorado and Minnesota under the 14th Amendment. 5 of the 7 state Supreme Court justices voted to hear the case, with the argument being that Trump violated his oath of office by stoking an insurrection to overthrow the results of the 2020 election on January 6th. The other argument is that he should be disqualified from holding public office following the assault on the Capitol on January 6th. He is also going to be facing this for the next few weeks in Colorado, Minnesota. This shows that the citizens of the United States are calling for action, and we need to be listening if it's bad enough that it's an issue that 2 separate groups are saying the same thing. This article connects to the United States versus Nixon because they both follow a president-influenced break-in of a federal building. Overall, this case shows how no one person is above the law, even if he's the president. When both Trump and Nixon had their scandals, the Supreme Court made sure they didn't get away with it and provided justice.